how two high school teachers went from teaching in high school to launching their marketing agency and closing $8,000 in a single day. In today's interview, we're gonna cover just that. And with that in mind, let's jump right in.
All right, guys, I am Allie. I am one of our client success coaches inside of Agency Lab, our program, and we are live here inside of our Marketing Agency Secrets group with no other than the Chris Buckmiller and Nick Selkin. I am so excited to be here with you guys. And just to get started, how about you share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and kind of a little bit about your background. What did you do before agency life?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Chris. Thanks everyone for joining. This is my business partner, Nick. So basically where I was 5 months ago, I was teaching PE. So I was a PE teacher in high school. And so that was my background. I was a teacher for 8 years. And I'm in South Dakota. And so kind of what happened, just a little bit of background, nothing crazy special, but just talking with Nick quite a bit about our goals and kind of what we want to do with our lives, and having an understanding that we were maybe not in a position to do that with our current job. And so, yeah, after kind of having a conversation with Nick about dreaming big, he connected with a guy who was actually doing some Facebook ads and doing well in the marketing world. And so Nick actually took the leap of faith first, learned how to do the marketing business side of things, and curiosity got me to ask him basically how to do it. And so I tagged along, and here we are.
Awesome. I'm really curious, Nick, what is your kind of side of things? What is your perspective of, what were you doing beforehand, and how did you get kind of started?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. Kind of just like piggybacking off of Chris. I was the first person who started like getting coaching with like Facebook ads. And basically my friend just kind of reached out to me. I started getting coached, and about 3 or 4 weeks into coaching, Chris basically like hit me up one day, and I was like, dude, I can't do anything. I'm like getting coached tonight. And I was like, you should probably learn this stuff because it's like super valuable. And Chris was like, what is it? And I was like, dude, I don't even know how to explain it. I was like, I can just give you his number and he can talk to you. And then like from there, we basically just learned Facebook ads, and we just kept reinvesting into ourselves. And same thing with like Chris, right? We were both teaching PE. We knew each other for a long time just because we both went in the PE coaching program with college, and we've just been really good friends for a long time. So, the business partner aspect of it has just been perfect for both of us because we're always on the same page. We're super honest with each other. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're just, we just want to keep growing, and we want more, and we just want to keep investing into ourselves to keep growing our agency.
That's awesome. I just love how you were PE coaches, you were working at a school, and now you are growing an amazing company, a business, an agency. That's just got to be such a different type of work world that you're working in. So I'm really curious, did you guys leave your PE jobs? Are you still there? What does that look like?
Yeah. So for me personally, and Nick was kind of in the same boat too, is when I do something, I personally have to go all in. So we were doing the marketing thing last school year. And so I did that throughout the school year, and it was great. Like, I'm glad that I started that because there was a lot of learning. There was a lot of successes, a lot of failures. So it was nice to kind of do it while I was also having the safety of a salary. But I also hit a point where at the end of the year, I just knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. That wasn't really my calling. And so a lot of people usually will do it when it's like a safe, like when they go full time into their business, it's like a very safe thing to do. I kind of probably jumped the gun, to be honest. Me personally, the self-awareness part of it, knowing that's what I had to do in order to make it work. I knew that teaching another year and doing it part-time wasn't really going to get it to jumpstart like I wanted it to. And so, yeah, I don't teach anymore. I do coach. I do coach basketball. Love coaching. That's something that I'll probably never leave. But the teaching part was something 5 months ago. I decided that it wasn't for me anymore, and so I jumped in and hit the ground running.
I taught Chris into everything. That's basically how it started. Every time I like have a conversation with him, I just basically look at him like, dude, I'm doing this with you or without you. And then Chris basically looks at me and he's like, oh, he's like he like gives this big like sigh, but it's almost like a sigh of relief. He's like, finally someone gets me.
Yep.
So that's kind of like just where we're at, how we got started. And it's actually funny. When we joined Rise, this is like the best story. It just keeps getting better. The best part about it was like, you know, we talked to Tyler and everything was great. And I told Chris, I was just like, oh, dude, I don't know, man. And Chris was literally the person who talked me into it.
Look at that. Comes full circle.
We flipped. Yep. It was really weird. So Nick's just always like, I'm very, I like to like see the numbers. I like to think things through, ask questions. And Nick's usually just like, nope, let's do it. And then it was just kind of funny to like see it flip on that side. Cause I was like, dude, we have to do it. It's just, we have to do it. And so, yeah, took that jump.
That's awesome. So Chris, it kind of sounds like your personality kind of maybe has changed over the past 5 months, diving into this business world, leaving your P job, and now you're ready to go all in. And now you're bringing Nick with you, whereas before it was Nick kind of dragging you along. Tell me a little bit more about that and how you've kind of shifted your mindset a little bit.
Yeah, my mindset essentially has changed because I understand like when I invest into something, it's not just about like the money that you're putting into something, it's what you're going to get back. And so really in the last, not even year, but even just 6 months, just really understanding and thinking about money and investments differently, have really helped. And who knows, maybe I don't learn that without Nick, without taking those initial, like just going for it.
That's true.
So yeah, that's kind of my mind shift on things. And so I try to look at things different. Anytime we invest into something, I kind of look like, how many clients do I need to sell in order to make this work? And many times the answer is 1 or 2. And so I look at that as a way where it's like, hey, we can do this. And so that's changed quite a bit.
Yeah, you break down the numbers. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you've talked a little bit about how you've started your agency. Now tell me a little bit about how you found Agency Lab specifically, and where were you when inside of your agency revenue wise when you found us?
Well, I actually, Mr. Joe, I don't want to butcher his name on a live call, but Joe reached out to me. It was like middle of July, and I don't even know like how it happened. He just reached out to me and he was like, hey, do you have time for a quick call? And like turned into like a 45-minute call. And I think I like called Chris and was like, dude, like this guy talked to me, you know, it's Joel Kaplan's program. And like, same thing with everything. I just come to Chris, like, boom, dude, like you got to talk to this guy. And then like down the road, like we got connected again with Joe, I think. And then basically Joe connected us with Brayson. And then basically that's how we joined Agency Lab.
Yeah, Nick kind of came towards me. I always so Nick's he gets very excited about things. Sometimes he doesn't describe it the best way. And so he just came to me, he's like, hey, I think this is the real deal. I'm like, what is the real deal? He's this thing. Like I'm like, what is it? You just need to get on the call. And so just got on the call, and just right away I'm like, yeah, that's probably where we need to be, because our ambition, like our efforts there, the guidance is what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, kind of where we were when we took that, this was just 2 months ago, right, Nick? Is that 2 months ago?
Yeah.
This first happened. So 2 months ago, we were at like $3,000 a month total. So, And that was just, we'd get a client, lose a client, get 2 clients, lose 3 clients, and so it was kind of an up and down emotional roller coaster, and our business was a roller coaster. And so right now we're at about 15K a month, which is awesome. It's been just the guidance and small things, so like coaching background, right? Like I think the little things become big things, once you add those up, and really just the guidance of little, small, important things that we learn really every day and every week have really helped us, get clients, keep clients, and, just build our business the way we want to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like that almost that coaching background and that athletic side in you is coming out in your business and in your mindset and how you're making decisions inside of your business. Is that right?
Oh, 100% for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always just, every great accomplishment or great business or whatever, like comes to the decision of, hey, I want to do this. And like, I believe we can do this. And then in addition to that, understanding that you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? You don't reinvent the wheel. You just find somebody who's done what you want to do and be coachable and listen to their guidance. And if you do that, chances are you're eventually going to be there, as long as you're persistent and you understand there's obviously going to be struggles as well. You'll get where you want to if you have the right guidance.
Yeah, the right guidance. So that kind of segues into, you've shared a little bit about your story where you got, and you said about 3 months ago, you were at 3K. So that's where you were. Why did you even join Agency Lab, and what was your vision? What did you want to be making at the time?
Well, I guess me and Chris always talk about making 100K a month. So I guess we've always had little tiny goals like here and there as well. Like we're always like, hey, let's get 10, 20, all those little tiny goals. So I think it's just an ongoing process of just, we just always want more. So we know like once we hit something, we just, that's great. That's awesome. We get super excited, but it's like, after the adrenaline kind of goes down, it's like, let's figure out how we can continue to grow.
Yeah, love that. What do you think, Chris? What are your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've always talked about 100K, and when we first started, it was kind of funny. We'd talk 100K, not sure if we believed it, where it's like, yeah, that'd be really cool, but like, is that possible? And kind of having, I don't know, not doubt, but just of like, how do I get there type moments. And so, but once you're around people who have done that and you kind of see it, and you have days, like we've had days where we've made, our teaching salary for that month, like what we get paid in a month as a teacher, we've made that, on a 30-minute phone call. And so just kind of like, once you have those victories and those small steps, you really start like learning like, wow, this is actually really possible. And you just need to stick to it.
Yeah, 100%. So when you guys did join, what was most important to you in a program, or what was most important to you at the time in your agency? What did you need the most?
I would just say like just overall guidance. Guidance in sales, guidance in appointment setting, and just guidance in basically everything. Like we don't, we know that we don't know everything, and we just know that, coaching and guidance can help us as long as we follow what is told to us.
Yep, I agree. Same here. It was simply us just wanting resources, different people to connect to, some people that were great at fulfillment, some people that were great at sales. Kind of saw that Agency Lab had everything as far as what we needed to do, as far as getting better at sales, outreach. And so it was kind of everything that we needed was in one place, and we just needed to be coachable and work hard. And I didn't doubt Nick's, ability to work hard or my ability to work hard. We needed the guidance. And so that's what we needed. And it was an easy decision for us.
It sounds like you needed the guidance, you needed the coaching, but you also needed the community of people around you doing the same thing that you are and in the same boat. Can you guys talk a little bit about the community aspect?
Yeah. Uh, I would just say like you basically just explained everything. Like you hit the nail in the coffin right there. Just being around everyone and just always being supported. Like, like I'll have like a down day or like a down call or someone texts me and it's just not the greatest. And just literally like just there's so much like positive energy coming from the group that it just keeps me so motivated. And then just all the people that I've connected with, like in this group and just networking, like it's just a connection thing. It's like everyone wants what I have and everyone, it's like vice versa. Like everyone just keeps wanting more. So just being around those people like every single day is just what I want.
Yeah. So, and same thing, like everyone in the community brings a little something different and has their own little spice, that helps us. I don't know, like Nick said, when we have bad days, right? So, it's like when we listen to Sergio, he's great at talking about sales, but when he talks about belief, it's not really like what he says, it's how he says it, right? And Gil, one time I remember he was talking about like every day, before you go to bed and when you wake up, talk about, one huge win or like one big accomplishment in it, like before bed, and just thinking about these positive thoughts, which has nothing to do with the marketing business, right? But at the same time, it has everything to do with the marketing business because, once you fix your mindset and you help that, like it just helps your business. It helps with your sales calls. It helps you, with the little things that you need in order to, make your business be successful. But it's cool. I mean, Yanko's been my day one, right? So Yanko's my boy, like talking to Yanko and just, I don't know, the community's great. It's not just, one person. It's not just a Joel Kaplan program. It's a community within Agency Lab where obviously Joel's like awesome and he's incredible, but at the same time, there's other members in that community that are great to bounce ideas off and learn from.
Yeah, 100%. So when y'all joined Agency Lab, you had a goal. What was that goal? Was it a revenue goal? A specific revenue goal, or was it something else?
Yeah, for me, it's not really a revenue goal. It's just for me to like my wife still works. And so I want to get to a point where I know that I can wake up, not worry about finances. She doesn't have to work and we're just happy, right? So the rev goal for that, I don't know what that is exactly. But it's just kind of like I don't want the problems in my life. I don't want to ever be money problems anymore. I want them to be just like little business problem. Like you're always going to have problems, right? But I don't want any problem to be about finances and stuff with my family and I. And so whether that's 50K a month or 100K a month or whatever that is, I don't know, but I'm sure I'll know once I get there. But when I get there, I know I'm not going to be satisfied. I will say that.
I agree.
Yeah. So it sounds like family is a big motivator for y'all.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Love that. So looking back, well, I guess before I get there, you both joined Agency Lab and then you recently just joined Rise. So what was your journey from Agency Lab to Rise, and what kind of helped you make the decision to up level and join the Rise Mastermind?
Probably going to the Rise Mastermind event in Miami, to be honest. Like just being around that community and those people, we basically like just both were like, we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Agency Lab, we went from 3K to 15K, and so it was an easy decision, right? Like we've already invested into these people who have helped us, and it's like, well, what else can we do? And I'm a big believer in like you are who you hang out with, right? It's cheesy, everyone's probably heard it, right? But at the end of the day, if you hang out and you're learning from winners, like you're just going to mold into that, kind of like what I said earlier, like molding into people that you want to be, or accomplishing what other people have already accomplished.
So it was a lot of the motivating, seeing the community. You join Agency Lab, there's that community. Then you come to our event, the live event and in-person event in Miami, which was amazing. And then you're like, I want more. Is that Yeah.
Oh yeah, we drank the Kool-Aid. We're in. Yeah. They're just, I mean, everything about it. There's no like one thing. It's just, it's community, it's knowledge, it's motivation, it's joking around with people. It's a little bit of everything. So there's not like one thing that did it, but we love the community, and we'll be lifers.
That's awesome. So when you joined Agency Lab, you were at 3K, you're at 15K now. You joined Agency Lab with goals, and you just recently joined Rise. What are your goals inside of Rise? I know I asked this earlier. You said you didn't necessarily have a revenue goal for Agency Lab. Do you have a revenue goal for Rise, or is it just, what is it?
I guess like for the revenue goal, like obviously like our next milestone, like we want to get to 100K, and we know that's just going to continue to, snowball and climb up to whatever it may be. But I guess like our overall goal is just, I don't know if Chris has a different answer, but probably just the continued support and the resources that we have. Like, we're also like in the Discord channel, so super, super nice just to basically shoot a message and get quick responses, and yeah.
It goes back like goals, just getting to the point where financially not worried about anything. But I did send Joel, the first message I sent him on Facebook with Nick was, and I do this just because I just want to put myself out there to him, but I messaged him and said, "Hey Joel, hope all is well. Just shooting you a message to let you know Nick and I will be at 100K a month by the end of 2022. Only messaging this to you that way I can come back to it next year. Thanks. Have a good night." Like, just sent it, like just little things like that. So like rev goal for sure, like 100K a month. I'm hoping it doesn't take to the end of next year, but next year by 2022, Nick and I will hit it at some point for sure.
I love that. And I know you've touched on how a non-revenue goal is just family oriented. You don't want to be stressed about finances. And if your goal to hit 100K per month by the end of next year, 2022, what would that look like for you and your family hitting 100K per month?
Crying.
Yeah, I know. That's hard to answer. I mean, you almost get emotional like thinking about the fact that you're not worried about anything. Vacations are easier. You're never thinking about the finances, right? So any vacation is a simple yes. Like, hey, I want to go here. Awesome, cool. Like, let's plan it. Simple things, and this is going to sound silly, right? But simple things like if my furnace goes out at my house, I don't have to worry about that. Like these are problems that I've had to worry about before. But just freedom, the ability to say yes to whatever it is. It's different for everybody. For some people, it's a house. Other people, it's vacation. Some people, it's just waking up whenever they want to, kind of things. Like for me, I think I'll always like work hard. That's just kind of in my DNA. I'm always like working hard at something, but just having that feeling of like, hey, I took care of my family. My wife doesn't have to work. Like, she can be a stay-at-home mom. Like that in itself is kind of like the biggest flex that I could have, and that I would, appreciate, and just, I don't know, feel accomplished that I made it, so to speak.
I love that. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I would agree with Chris. I think just the fact of just, like right now we're at the point of like we're basically saying yes to like everything that we're investing into. And I think just transitioning to that, to like the life stuff, right? Like if I want to, take, Chris's family and my family out to dinner and pay for the whole thing, like that would be like awesome to me. Like, even like taking my parents on a vacation, like just stuff like that, like where it's just like, hey, mom, dad, like we're going to go here and we're going to have fun. We're not going to talk to anyone for like 3 or 4 days. We're just going to go on vacation. Like if I can do those kind of things, like that would just be great for me.
There's a reason we kind of titled this interview, this masterclass, this live, whatever you want to call it, our next 100K per month winners. And it's because we truly, the internal team, even just the entire community inside of Agency Lab and Rise, believe in y'all, because you continually show up every single day. You're all in. And I want to say that that has a lot to do with your coaching background, the athletic person inside of you. But talking to both of you, it sounds like it's almost, you have such a strong why and a motivator behind your drive of showing up every day. And it might be your family. Am I right in saying that? Could you talk a little bit more about what motivates you to show up every single day?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So just understanding like why you're making that decision, because at the end of the day, this is not like building a business and getting to 100K a month or getting to the point where you want the freedom, whatever it is. You have to understand that it is difficult and there are days that suck, right? And so not every day, like once you get to what you want, and obviously overall it's great, but there's also days and there's struggles. And I think like in today's, I sound old right now when I say this, but like in today's world, there's so many distractions and there's so many things that like maybe you can do or you can try. And like Joel talks about it being like shiny object syndrome, where like there's so many things out there that if you don't have your why and like your vision of why you want the 100K, because if it's just about the 100K a month, it's like, that's not enough. Like, why do you want the 100K, right? So why do you want these things? And once you have the why locked in, like once you kind of have the guidance and stuff, getting through those struggles will help you get to where you want. Because otherwise, we all know somebody, right? And I'm guilty of it. You know, Nick's guilty of it. Ali, I'm sure you're guilty of it, where like sometimes you wanted to do something, and at the end of the day, and it can be as simple as like, I wanted to start reading, I wanted to start working out, I wanted to start a bit, like all these things. But then at the end of the day, your why might not have been, you know, big enough. And then when you hit those struggles or it became difficult, you just kind of like, that was a wrap. And so having a locked in vision, like for me personally, and it's a lot of things, like obviously it's family, you know, my wife, you know, my mom, my dad, being able to like do some crazy things for them, having a wicked car, like things like that. Like I know exactly what I want. And those are the things that help us get through those, the tough days and the tough moments.
100%. I love that. So when you say, I mean, it sounds like, it feels like you can just feel it. You guys have a locked in vision, 100%. You know your why, you know your vision, and that's how you show up every day and how you've gone from 3K to 15K in such a short amount of time. What is some advice, some tangible takeaways you can give everyone of how to find your vision, how to discover what your why is?
Wow, it's a tough one.
Not holding back.
Yeah. Finding your why. I mean, for me personally, I would just say I just went through like a lot of hard times, you know, going back again to just my competitive like sports. Like I just went through like so much stuff that I'm to the point now. And I always relate to working out too. Like, so it's kind of back with like the competitive sports, but that for me personally has just put me through stuff where like, you know, just like a simple, like, hey, I don't want to wake up for this 5 a.m. workout, but I have to. And just applying that kind of stuff to like business. And that for me is like, you know, applying my why, like why I want to do things for my family or for other people and helping other people. When I have tough days, then, you know, it's like, hey, I don't really want to call this person right now, but since I've been through all that stuff, it's just second nature to me. I just do it.
I think like when someone needs to find their why, like the big thing is just understanding, and it's different for everybody, like having true self-awareness about yourself and what do you want most, right? Because if you're always doing things to like please other people, even if it's family, honestly, like even if your whole life you've been doing things to please your family, that might wear out because that's not something that you truly want. So truly looking yourself in the mirror and understanding like, hey, like if nobody else, if no opinion mattered, and I just wanted everything, XYZ, maybe it's a house, maybe it's just, maybe it's a car, like it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's family, a house, a car, having, I don't know, all sorts of toys, like whatever it is, right? Like jet skis, lake cabin, whatever, like you have to understand what is going to motivate you as a person long term and not just now. So you have to say, okay, what do I want this year, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, when I'm 80 years old in a rocking chair? Like, what do I want to look back at and be happy that I did? And having that, I don't think you can truly figure it out like that. I think you really have to be you have to be purposeful with your thoughts and understanding what makes you happy and what doesn't. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Totally. So kind of off of that, future pacing, you're encouraging people to future pace. What would you look back and be proud about? What would you guys look back when you're 85 years old and be proud about within your company and then also within your family?
I want to, so I guess what I'm happy I did, like previously going all in, like just deciding like, hey, I'm going to do this. This isn't like a side hustle or anything like that. Like this is my thing. I'm doing it. That was probably the best decision I've made. When I'm 80 years old in my rocking chair looking back, I just want to build great memories and moments just like with my family and in my life, like family, friends, creating great memories, doing things that made the people around me happy and myself happy, and not having to worry about, finances, something that I can hand off, like something that I can hand to my kids one day. And, because that's legacy, right? And so you talk about it. I talk about it in sports all the time, like leaving a program and like leaving a team better than you found it, and just kind of helping like the Buck Miller family. Like when I came into the family tree, the people that come after me, like, is it better than what I came into? And so I think that's kind of the ultimate goal. And just being satisfied with the decisions that I made and going all in on things that actually matter in life.
Wow.
Love that. What about you, Nick? Can you say anything else?
I don't know if I can beat that. Can I just say I agree?
All right. Sorry, dude.
I love it. So looking back, you're pretty still new in your agency, even though you've grown pretty quickly over the past month, 2 months, 3 months. What would you do differently? What is some advice you can give, some people out there who are just now starting out?
Just basically just like if you commit to whatever it is, business or anything in life, just do it. Because when I first started, like I would be lying if I said I wasn't truly all in. Like just things like just like mindset things. Like I would always like say I'm going to do things, and I was a very motivated person and I would do a lot of things that I think like other people wouldn't do, but I think it just took me like a really long time to finally get to the point where like I literally just say like yes to everything now. So I would just say, like, if you're going to do something, make sure that you are passionate about it and make sure you actually see like a long-term goal with it. And if those two things don't like align, then, find something that does align with those two things and just, for me, like find a business partner, find a friend who can do it with you. Because when we first started and we were teaching and, we weren't like both like, completely together on the same page all the time. Like he was busy, I was busy. And I struggled a lot just because I didn't really have the support there. So, and Chris really does help me a lot with a lot of stuff. So I was, I am like exactly what Chris said. Like I get really excited and I'm just like, I'm always like all over the place. So like when I get all over the place, Chris just basically checks me and he's like, dude, like, let's think about this. Let's like, whatever it is, like numbers or like whatever comes out of my mouth. It's like, he just like he's just more organized with me. And he just, he's a better planner. And he really, really helps me out with like numbers. Like if I was like to be completely honest with me, like I like don't really track like my numbers and stuff. And it's just nice to like see like the other day, like he had like these numbers like lined up together like on a sheet. And like just for me to visually see it, it was like I was just that little tiny thing, like I'm super thankful for.
Yeah, but and don't give me all the credit either, because like I'm probably a little too safe and Nick's probably like a little too crazy. And like when we combine forces, it's like the perfect middle of like both making the right, the right decision. And but I guess to like answer your question of doing something different, I think that's such a hard question, because for me personally, I think about all of the mistakes and stuff that I've done. And I think that's such a huge part of learning, and like going through the struggle and having those moments where like, like if I would have had it right away, like maybe I would, like, for example, like honestly, full transparency, I know I probably am at, Nick and I are probably at 25, 30K if we joined Agency Lab months prior, right? And at the same time, it's like, well, maybe the reason why we're doing so well since we've joined is because, we weren't a part of it and we understood how bad we were when we had no guidance, right? And so I don't know. So that's kind of tough. I mean, I'm proud that like I started when I had my job, so I had a foundation down. I'm proud that I decided to just go all in. If I had to change one thing, maybe joining Agency Lab beforehand, if I would have known about it. But at the same time, it's always hard. Like, there's the joke, like no regrets. And so I think that's part of learning and part of business and a part of life is like, whether it's good or bad, like the decisions that you make mold you to who you are. And if you didn't have that, who knows what it would look like right now.
Oh, I love that. That's the exact kind of mindset that you need to build up to a 100K per month agency and beyond. I would love for both of you to kind of talk a little bit more about your partnership and how that works. Nick, you were sharing, and it sounds like you just balance each other out really well. I know that there's a lot of people out there, if they're just starting out, or maybe they're not just starting out and they feel like something's missing. Maybe they're interested in forming a partnership with someone, but there's lots of things to be fearful around that. Obviously, when you're bringing someone else into your company, can you guys share a little bit about what makes your partnership work so well and how you kind of work through things that are hard or disagreements that you may have?
Yeah, I would say as far as like the partnership, like we actually weren't like, true like 50-50 business partners when we first started. We were kind of just like, hey, like if you sell someone, we'll share it. If I sell someone, we'll share it. And like the reason we did that is because we trusted each other. And it goes back to like what I said before, is like we had that good relationship. And again, like I'm the person who's like all over the place. So it's like it came down to like Chris basically being like, dude, are we doing this or not? Like, are we being 50-50 partners? And then after that, it was like, okay, like I need to stop doing what I'm doing and I need to like get everything organized. I need to, go into the LLC. I need to make it 50-50. And that was kind of like the transition for like me, like basically Chris just confronting me and saying, dude, are we doing this?
Yeah. Nick and I work well because we're different. Like we're best friends, but we're also different. Right. And so like we bring different dynamics to the business that help the business grow. So like if somebody, my advice to somebody who's looking for, a business partner or somebody to work with, like take your time with whoever you're going to work with. And I think it's very rare that Nick and I were best friends beforehand. If Nick was like, let's say out of the picture, and I had no idea who Nick was. I personally don't think there's somebody that I'm friends with that I would truly know that they're going to go all in and do those things in the business. So I think I would, if I found that person, it would be at like an event in Miami, like Kara, shout out Kara, she's a goat. She was like in Miami, and she's like, full transparency, I'm here to find my future business partner, and it was like, and like, she's obviously doing like 100K a month or whatever. And it was like hearing that from her, it's like, that's probably what I would have had to do too. It would be at an event with like-minded people. You don't ever have to like convince somebody. You know how hard it would be if I had to convince like another teacher, like, hey, like, we're going to start a business, we're going to leave our job, we're going to be rich.
Yeah.
They look at you like you're an idiot. And Nick's one of those guys where like I could say that too, and it's like, yep, cool, how are we going to do it? And we just lock in on that. So that's kind of hard. I do agree with Nick. It is a lot easier to do it when you have a business partner, because it just helps, honestly, like even when it's just two people, the culture of doing it, bringing different tools to it. I'm a little more organized. Nick is so much better at calling people who no-showed and doing those things. Like, we have sold clients that I would have never sold, because Nick remembers Joe Schmo from 123 days ago who no-showed us, and Nick will get a hold of him. And so he'll call him 50 times. I'm not even exaggerating. That's actually an underestimate. Like, he'll call him 500 times to get a hold of him and say, hey, this is Nick, man. You no-showed us 120 days ago. What's going on? Are you okay? And so little things like that, that we kind of add to each other, I think is very valuable. But again, it goes down to the self-awareness thing, right? So if I was by myself, what am I good at? What do I probably not need help with? And then what do I need help with? So I'd obviously want to partner with people who bring value to me that I struggle with. And maybe it's not a 50-50 partnership right out of the get-go. Maybe it's just like, hey, let's work with each other. And then if it's a good fit, then you can kind of lock arms, because you do have to lock arms at some point to say like, hey, like, we're in this, sign, like, shake hands, sign it, whatever, dotted line, like, we're locking in, because otherwise there's always this kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing, which is not good for anybody. And so you have to kind of take that leap of faith and partner with somebody that's going to add value.
Yeah, I love that. Also, that tangible piece of advice that you gave. If you don't know someone in your personal life, in your circle, to who you could convince to partner up with you, go to a networking event, find like-minded people. How important is it to have like-minded people in your life when you're building a business?
It's huge. So like, just think about life in general. Like, we're very we're taught to like be safe, get a good job, good benefits. Like, that's like what's been drilled in everybody's head. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not one of those people that's going to insult, that lifestyle or that decision. Like, totally fine. But self-awareness, for me, understanding that I want more, right? And so finding that like-minded person can be extremely difficult, I think, because it's very rare to find people like that. But once you do, it's so worth it, because you just realize like those crazy thoughts that you have of yourself of like, hey, I'm going to leave my job one day. Hey, my family's going to, be able to kick their feet up and have no worries. Like, those thoughts like become a reality when you're around those people.
I would agree.
I love Nick. He's like, I agree.
Yep.
Get the like button going for Nick. Like.
Yes, I love it. Well, we do have a question, guys, from Sydney Salvadon. I hope I said that right. She's saying, I'm loving this interview. Thanks for putting this together, team. What is the difference between Agency Lab and Rise? And I would love to hear it from your perspective, from somebody who's been in Agency Lab and Rise. What is the difference, y'all?
Chris, you going?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to let you talk, man. I feel
Okay. All right.
like I talk too much.
I would say like the biggest difference for me is just, taking the next level up of, who's in that culture and who's in that community for us. And for us personally, it was, this is just for us. It was because of the mastermind that we went to in Miami. As far as like the community on Facebook and everything in there, I think, it was just taking another step to progress in our personal business and in our like, long-term future that we want. Like we just saw the value in just a short amount of time. And I think like we basically were just like, hey, like we're never going to leave. We might as well just join Rise. Like it's just going to be the next level up. So like, I guess to be honest, like we've only been in Rise for like a week. So like, I guess I couldn't give you like a super detailed like answer of like what the huge difference is. But to me, like it was just, leveling up to the next investment, I guess.
Yeah, we ended up getting we got lucky. We won a free week of not a week, a month of Rise calls. So we joined Rise a week ago, but like last month, I can't remember, we won on a call.
Yep, forgot about that.
Yeah, so like we got in the calls and stuff, and so like we got to see it, firsthand. And I remember the first call I jumped in. I can't remember what it was, but I like jumped in and they were talking. I was like, wow. Like I was kind of like almost like shocked as far as like the level of the conversation that was being had. And so it was kind of, I don't know if I want to use the word intimidating, but it was one of those things where like, if you were in the classroom, here's my teaching analogy, right? So it's like if I was in the classroom and I was sitting next to like a bunch of like genius kids and I was like super average, like I'd be kind of quiet in the classroom. And that's how I felt in the first call. But like the more I get there, like, again, they were like super helpful. Like, hey, like, where are you at in your agency? Kind of what are you needing? Like struggle. And so there was more like one-on-one time. And like agency labs, like awesome. But instead of, having, let's say 20 people on a tech call or a client success call or something, right? It's just a little bit smaller with people that, again, are where I want to be, and just hearing how they talk, hearing how they deal with problems, mindset stuff, was the difference. So it's like agency lab. It's like, hey, here's sports reference. People hate me if they're not into sports, but it's like sports reference, like agency lab is, it's like, I don't know, like the Houston Rockets, like they're in the league, they're in the NBA, but they're not great. And it's like joining Rise, it's like now you're on the Lakers and you're like, you understand like the difference to like truly winning and being like a contender, just on being kind of like on that next level up. Like they're in the same league, but at the same time, they're at a different level, which helps you get to a different level.
Kobe,
shout out Kobe.
Yes, love it. It's definitely that level up for sure. So Sydney, I hope that answered your question. Y'all, we have about just a few minutes left, and I kind of want to end it on letting you give any sort of advice, anything you want to say to end it. But I also want to ask give a tangible piece of advice of how to show up every single day.
You got to stop asking all these hard questions.
Y'all, that's just how I am.
Can you say that question again so I can process it?
Give a tangible piece of advice of how to show up every day, how you guys show up every day.
I would just say like, just surround yourself with people who are like-minded. Keep it simple and short.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep. I would say just being organized with every single day, where if you're just kind of waking up and just not knowing what you're going to do that day, I think sometimes it's hard to like show up to calls or like do these things. Whereas I personally, like every single day, like speaking of tangible things, like every night when I go to bed, I'm looking at the calendar for the next day and I'm like, okay, I understand what calls I have, which things on Rise or Agency Lab am I going to attend for sure? And then where's my downtime where I'm going to do outreach or I'm going to do things to, I'm going to do things to help our business grow.
So surrounding yourself with people, like-minded people, and kind of time blocking your calendar to do the things that are most important. Those are great 2 pieces of tangible advice for sure.
And I want, can I add one more thing?
100%.
I want to add one more thing because I think this is the most important thing. And I hope people realize this is like, I'm sure there's people like in this group, in this marketing, there's like 11,000 people, right? So there's people in this group who, maybe don't think they're super outgoing or, hey, I'm not great at sales or what's special about me. And I hope when you're like listening to Nick and I talk, like we're not special by any means. Like we're just not. So like, sorry, Nick, like, sorry, we're not like some diamond, like in the rough, can't find us anywhere. Like we're very normal people. And we just simply made the decision that we're doing this. And it's not just like the decision of doing it, but like doing things so that you truly believe in yourself, right? Because like when you truly believe, instead of like, hey, I'm doing this, like when you believe in yourself and like you believe that that decision is the best thing for you, your family, your business, but like when you believe, like it's unbelievable, like what you can achieve. And like here we are, we're at 15K, we're talking like we're at 100K, like because we believe we're going to be there. So we carry ourselves different and we're going to get there. It's a matter of time because we believe in each other.
Believe in yourself.
We're just normal dudes. Just normal dudes.
Normal dudes. I love it. That's great, amazing advice to give for listeners in this group. 100%. All right. Last thing. Gonna end it on something a little bit fun for both of you. A year from now, you should be hitting 100K, right?
Yep.
You come back and rewatch this live video a year from now. What do you want to tell yourself? Give yourself a message.
What do I want to tell myself a year from now after watching this and we're at 100K? For me, it's just, I would probably just say, I don't know, I guess just, I knew I was going to do it.
Told you so. If I were to add to it, like you're saying, so I'm talking to myself a year from now, like I've made 100K.
Yeah.
I would say find 3 people like me who want to be where I'm going to be and I'm going to help them. So I want to find somebody who maybe just recently quit their job, somebody in Agency Lab, somewhere where it's like, hey, like let's help this person do it because they have it in them. And maybe they just need a conversation and maybe somebody to speak belief into their ear. And maybe they just need to hear it from somebody who is a normal dude, right? So I would try to find somebody who hasn't maybe made the decision to go all in, even though they should, and then figure out if I can help them also do it because their why or whatever their vision is the same as what mine is right now.
Love it. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Do it.
Chris has the best
live
answers.
Recording a year from now. Hey Chris, hey Nick, you hit 100K for once. Now time to go help some others.
Yeah, you're gonna crop that 60 seconds and post it in there and get like 100 responses. Then, all right, here we go. Yeah, love it.
Awesome, guys. Well, is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
Nothing for me. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate Chris for jumping on as well. So, yeah, just excited to see what the future holds.
Yep,
Definitely.
same here.
Awesome. All right, everyone. This is our next 100K per month members. You heard it here first. And I hope everyone has a great Tuesday. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Nick, for hopping on. And that's about it. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank
Bye.
you.
Guys.